Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Berry from Miami University. Welcome to today's webinar entitled It's Your Turn, Uncovering the Best You Now, presented by Miami Women. Through the Miami Initiative for Advancing, Mentoring, and Investing in Women, we provide networking and professional development opportunities for all Miami women, virtually and in person. Our next in-person event is Friday, March 10th in Atlanta during Love and Honor Weekend, our newest destination event. Registration for the weekend is open, and we'd love to see you there. The link to sign up is miamialum.org/love honor weekend. We also invest in women through the Miami Women Giving Circle, a collective giving effort that allows participants to combine resources with other members and make an incredible impact on the Miami community. The collective power of each member's annual $1,000 gift creates a large pool of money that funds multiple vital projects via Hawk Tank, a live pitch event held each April in conjunction with our annual Women's Leadership Symposium. Visit miamioh.edu/Miami Women for more information. Today, we're excited to be joined by Miami alumna Cynthia Oredugba, Executive and Leadership Coach at Missing Piece Coaching. Cynthia works with senior executive women who face all the demands and stress of a high-performance position. She helps them masterfully navigate the rapidly changing landscape of today's business world so they can thrive as leaders. Cynthia is the author of It's Your Turn and Uncovering the Best You Now. She also co-hosts a podcast, The O Element. Cynthia has a rich history of fulfilling her own life purpose. She was the first African-American woman to join the William Morris Talent Agency as an agent trainee in the early 1970s, and later opened her own boutique talent agency in Los Angeles. Before I hand it over to Cynthia, here are a couple housekeeping notes. We will try to address questions collected at registration throughout the presentation today, and live viewers can ask questions during the webinar by clicking the Ask a Question button at the bottom under your video. You'll also have the opportunity to share responses and reactions during this webinar in the same manner by using the Ask a Question button. All right, Cynthia, I will turn it over to you.
And I'm going to start with the housekeeping note, and that is, if you don't have it, get a pen and paper because you're going to be doing some writing. And today is very interactive, and it's your day, so get that pen and paper. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm so happy to be here with you. Together, we can discover how we can uncover the best of each one of us in 2023. A number of years ago, I was attended a presentation, and the speaker started off with a question, and I'm going to ask you that question today. It is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not present and 10 being totally committed to being present. How committed are you to be totally committed to our time today? And I'd like for you to write down. In fact, you can even write in the chat. If you're not going to be present, 1, and if you're going to be totally committed, 10. And if it's anything under a 10, ask yourself, why aren't I important enough to give my total attention to myself today so that I can uncover the best me for 2023? So today is all about you. And I'm going to ask you to be a little selfish so that you can just focus on yourself. Take yourself out of your job, away from your children, away from your husband, away from your friends, and spend the short time that we are going to be together focusing and concentrating on you. I'm also going to ask you for the luxury of being honest with yourself. Nobody will know but you. So do be honest with yourself. I had a friend who used to play solitaire and would cheat every time. And I said one day, why are you always cheating on solitaire? And you're the only you're just playing against yourself. So I want you to be very honest with yourself today so that you can really uncover some rich treasures for yourself. So repeat after me. It's all about me. I can't hear you, but you know we're being honest and committed. So say, it's all about me. And then I want you to close your eyes and imagine, let your imagination take flight in thinking, I'm going to focus just on me. What does that feel like? Now, there aren't going to be any slides today. You are going to be your own slide so that you can really focus again on you. So, I have a little exercise that we're going to do that's going to prime you for where we're going today. And so, what I'd like for you to do, and I'm just going to pull up something that can help with the background. I want you to make yourself comfortable, put your shoulders back, put your hands in a fist, your thumbs straight up, and you're going to do a Rocky pose with your arm in a V. Okay? Can you do that? And then you're going to start breathing through your nose, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. And as you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose, you're going to pump your stomach. So there are three things you're doing. Your arms are being held up. You're inhaling and exhaling out of your nose. And I like to close my eyes so that I can just center within myself. So close your eyes and pump your stomach. And I'm not going to do it with you because I want to talk you through it. And I'm going to put some background music on to keep you going. But this is a very interesting exercise. It's called Ego Eradicator. And our ego gets in the way of so much that we do. It's really not here to serve us. It's there to talk you into or out of what's not your best interest. So this is an exercise you can do to erase that and keep on. And when your arms start getting tired, just breathe through it. Just pump harder. And if you focus your pumping of your stomach, go about an inch below your navel and just pump hard and inhale and exhale out of your nose. What you're doing now is priming and feeding your brain. You're sending oxygen throughout your body. And with your eyes closed, you're looking into your body so that you can appreciate what it is that you're bringing to you. There is something about real estate, and the internal part of our body is our prime real estate. What they say, location, 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 where your prime real estate is within you. We spend a lot of time externally, but to go inside is where all your treasures lie. And so while you're inhaling and exhaling and pumping, just appreciate that I am here with me and I'm getting ready. I'm having the opportunity to learn this part of myself. Now we're going to start winding down, but keep pumping. And now that I'm telling you that, pump a little harder. And now raise your arms above your head. Open your fingers, let your thumbs touch. And you're going to do a different kind of breathing now. You're going to inhale very deeply through your nose. And you're going to bring it up and you're going to hold it at the top. And I'm going to count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly exhale and hold your exhale out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now you're going to inhale again. And at the top, you're only going to hold it to 5, the count of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale. And when you exhale, hold it out at the bottom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now, inhale one last time. Just hold a deep breath and exhale. Slowly bring your arm down. Put your hands on your lap. Close your eyes and just feel what you have generated. You manifested this energy throughout your body. So just luxuriate in this. And know that this is here for you whenever you need to go there. When there's something that you're working on and you just need to still your mind and still yourself, this is a great place to do it. Okay, so now open your eyes. I love track and field. And there is a starter who starts each race with on your mark, get set. There may be a gun or they just may say go. So I'm going to be your starter today. And whenever I say on your mark, get set, go, I want you to say, it's my turn and I'm uncovering the best me for 2023. So let's get started. On your mark, get set, go. It's my turn and I'm uncovering the best me for 2023. Let's try that one more time. On your mark, get set, go. It's my turn and I'm uncovering the best me for 2023. And I plan on doing that. So that's why I'm saying it myself. One of the things that I have found over the past few years that has been very helpful for me is to create a theme for myself for the year. And so I'm going to give you that opportunity to create your theme for 2023. And this is when you're going to pull your paper out and your pen and start writing. And I'm going to give you some prompts, some things to think about. Ask yourself, what gives your life meaning? I'll put a little music on so that you can set a nice mood for yourself. Think about who you are when you are at your best. What stimulates that awareness for you to know that you are at your best? Last year, my theme was joy. And it's so interesting. I read something about that what Matt Cat wrote. He said, joy is the first step. Joy is realizing that there is something deeper wanting to express itself through you. And so I thought, wow, there is something deeper wanting to express itself through me. And so that was my theme for the year. And this year, I am still playing around with what I'm creating. So I'm going to jot some notes as you are jotting them. The energy in supporting one another while we're doing this is very powerful. Don't write in complete sentences because we won't have that time, but just jot some thoughts down that come up for you. And after we finish, you can then embellish. And if you're just coming on the call, we're asking you to write some thoughts about a theme for yourself for the year. And I had suggested what look at what gives your life meaning. Think of who you are at your best and how can you use your best you, knowing who you are at your best, to create something that can guide you through the year. Okay, so we're going to wrap up now. And at least you've jotted some things down that you can apply afterwards. I like watching Hallmark movies. And one of the things, and the reason it's not the movie, it's some of the things that the characters say. And there was a movie I was looking at, and she said, be bold, be brave. There is no higher peak than self enlightenment. Be bold, be brave. There is no higher peak than self enlightenment. So I just want to throw that out as a little tidbit that just fascinates me. So the next thing we're going to do is, I suggest, is to study your manual of you. And you see, I contend that we are born with everything that we need to have a fulfilling life and to be productive. But we have to tap into so that we can see what it is, who we are, and what we have to offer to the world. And that's why it's important to study your manual. I moved to Los Angeles from New York. And in New York, I never drove. In fact, I hadn't driven since I took driver's training in Oxford, Ohio. And for Miami alums, you know that there's very little traffic. At least it wasn't when I was there a zillion years ago. So it was easy to drive there. I moved to Los Angeles, and all of a sudden, there is no way to get around Los Angeles without a car. And so I leased a car. I took a 3-year lease, and I finally learned to navigate the city and drive my car. And I felt very proud of myself for that major accomplishment. So now it's time to return my car to the lease company and get a new lease. And I had gone to dinner that night and valet parked my car. And when I came out and I'm driving home, and all of a sudden, I realized this steering wheel wasn't where I had placed it. And I thought, oh my goodness, something has happened to my car, and I'm going to be penalized when I return the car. So the next morning, I go to my mechanic and I said, there's something wrong with my steering wheel. This is not where it usually is. And he said, Cynthia, there's a button, and all you have to do is push the button, and you can adjust your steering wheel however you want it. Well, now I realized that I had never read the manual of my car. And I knew how to drive it. I knew how to turn the radio on and the heat, air conditioning, and defrost, and that was it. I probably had missed out on so many features that my car offered because I hadn't taken the time to study the manual. Well, I'm offering you the opportunity to study your manual by going within, listening to yourself, seeing what clicks for you and what doesn't, what makes meaning for you. Um, I was talking to someone last week during Martin Luther King's birthday week, and this friend of mine's uncle had been a close associate of Martin Luther King. And she shared with us that when Martin Luther King was in college, he got a C in public speaking. Now, did that stop him from knowing that he was here for something bigger? And this C was not going to compromise him from getting out and speaking about freedom, speaking about justice, speaking about equality. He had a message. He took the time to study his manual to know that he was the person to deliver this message to the world. And here we are, many years later, still quoting him, still reciting some of his speeches, and that C did not compromise him. So I want to tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a king. And this king had 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter. And there was a tradition in his kingdom, and that is the firstborn inherits everything. But for some reason, the king didn't feel that that was right, but he didn't know what to do. And then he thought, just because we've always done it this way doesn't mean we have to continue. And as king, I should be able to, to change that. But he wanted to think of something that made sense, that was fair, and that was grounded. And so he spent time reflecting and thinking and meditating over this. And he came up with an idea that he was really pleased with. And he called his kids together. And he said to them, I know the tradition is the firstborn inherits all of my possessions. However, I want to change that. And how I propose to do this is I'm sending each one of you your separate ways out in the world. And during your year out in the world, I want you to learn something about yourself. I want you to find ways to grow yourself. And at the end of that time, I'd like for you to come back and bring something that will fill the entire castle. The king was giving them, one, a chance for them to study their personal manual without being under his thumb. He also decided just because something has always been done this way doesn't mean that they had to continue. And so many of us work for companies and we look at the fact that can be some changes that take place, but it's always been done this way. And it just takes one person to know that, let me speak up. Let me go into my manual and see what it is that I can contribute to make that change. So we're going to find out about what happens later on with the king and his children. The next thing I want to offer you to consider is challenging yourself. When you challenge yourself, you go outside your comfort zone, and that's where the greatest growth takes place, outside the comfort zone. And each year, you should find ways to challenge yourself personally and professionally. I took this course that was quite intriguing to me, and it's an advanced course for coaches. And people from all over the world come for this course. And so I took it, it was a year-long course, and I took it. But I didn't really feel that I understood the foundation principles well enough. And I knew this was some important work, and I really wanted to get to the root of this. Now, in the course, we had pods, and there were 3 people in the pod. And in my pod during these pods, you're supposed to help each other understand more. You're supposed to explore, share with one another. Well, there were 2 men and myself, and they were both rather pompous, one even more so than other. And he spent his time each time we had our pod group meeting sharing how many years he'd been studying this modality and how well grounded he was in it. And I said, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm in your pod so that you can help me with some clarifications for some things that I'm not quite understanding." And I posed questions, none of which she answered. He was too smug to answer. It wasn't till the end of the year, and we were coaching. They sent in some clients for us to coach, but specifically using the tools from this course. And as I sat there observing him, I realized the reason he hadn't answered any of the questions because he didn't understand it at all. But he was too arrogant to say that he couldn't understand it. Well, that was a freedom for me. And what I did, because I realized I really did want to understand it, they were asking for facilitators, and I decided to interview to be a facilitator. And in my interviewing, I realized when you teach somebody something, that is the best way for learning and understanding whatever it is you want to learn for yourself. And that proved to be very true. It was, I felt so engaged that I had challenged myself so that I can learn this tool and bring it back to my clients. And I have been facilitating many coaches. And the other interesting thing in the challenge is that these coaches that I facilitate are from different parts of the world. So I get to hear how they apply it to the cultural differences in their countries, these these tools. Now, that's professional challenge. On a personal challenge, I just experienced it a few weeks ago. I was in Rwanda, and I had a friend who a couple of years ago was telling me about this trek to see the gorillas there and how life affirming it was for him and how expansive. And I thought, wow, this is something. And so since I'm going to Rwanda for a wedding, I decided to include that in the things that I was going to do. Now, number of years ago, I went on a safari in South Africa, and oh my God, was that awe-inspiring for me. Riding in an open Jeep through the savannah, seeing animals in their natural habitat, interacting with one another, incredible. So I couldn't wait for this trek. Now, anytime you plan something that you're really excited about, there's always going to be something that comes and tries to get in the way. When we arrived in Istanbul, I was out exploring the old city and stepped off of a curve and twisted my ankle. And it didn't bother me. And I thought, oh, I'm glad I have on these good shoes so to keep it with my ankle enclosed. However, later on, my ankle started throbbing, my foot was throbbing, and I couldn't walk. And I thought, I am not going to be able to see the gorillas. And so I sent a note to the person who was facilitating this trip for me to let him know what had happened. And he said, not to worry, Cynthia, I can arrange. He sends me a picture of 4 porters carrying this, not a dolly, but carrying uh, whatever you would call it, so that I could sit on and they can carry me up the mountain. And I thought, oh no, that's not how I envisioned this. So I iced and I iced and I iced. And I finally, when arrived in Rwanda, I was able to walk. And I said, I can do it. Now, I'm so busy focusing on the animals and seeing them in their natural habitat. I had not taken in consideration that I was frightened of 2 things. 1, of height, and 2, of falling. When I went on the safari, we were in a Jeep, and the Jeep was just driving through. Going to see the gorillas, I had to climb a mountain. And so now I'm getting ready to talk myself out of this again. However, I thought, no, you said you want to do this. You've put all of this energy in. Go for it. Here is when the right support comes, that's so important. I arrived at the location and I'm given a porter. And this porter, I think of him as a coach because he looked at me and he saw me and he saw what I needed. And he said to me, you can do this. And I am here for you to help to make certain that you do it and you enjoy the process. He did that for me. When it became a little tricky, he grabbed my hand. He says, you can do this. When it was time to stop, he stopped and said, drink some water. Let's go. And as I was studying him, I thought, wow, this is powerful. I am now seeing what I do for my clients. I see them. I stop. I give them the space. I believe that they can do it, and they can. And so at the end, we got up there and I saw, I guess we must have hiked about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And I thought, oh God, please help me. I don't know if I can do any more. It's high altitude. I'm out of breath. I'm huffing and puffing. And just when I thought I was at my wit's end, a minute later, there are the gorillas. And I am just blown away. And so we stand and just watch till we're told we can now walk. I guess they want to give them the opportunity to get adjusted and used to us being there. So I walk over and I find a place to sit so I can just study. And I picked one that I decided to study. He was a big black. And he sat there and then he stood up and he forged through the leaves and the foliage there until he found exactly what he wanted to eat. And he pulled it down and he sat down and he started eating. And you could see he ate with relish, like he was really enjoying what he was eating. And then he got up and he looked again and found exactly what he wanted. And he sat down and ate it. And when he'd had enough, he sat there and he found one spot. And it was like he was meditating and he looked out for about 15, 20 minutes and just studied the terrain. And I thought, wow, the ease and the grace with which he was functioning was incredible. So now it's time to return. And I already mentioned that I have a fear of height. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to look to see how far down to see this. I'm going to focus on my porter because he has my back. I'm going to look at his feet and follow his steps and and I'm just going to concentrate on little pockets, areas, little areas, little areas. And we kept going and we kept going. And we finally got down, and I couldn't believe it. And when we got back to the starting point, I said to myself, I did it. And then I thought, many women, we just sort of quietly say to ourselves what we've done. But I said, oh, heck no, this was work on my part. I said, I did it. And I looked at my coach. I said, I did it. And then I looked at him. I said, we did it. That challenge will stick with me because it taught me a lot about animals. It taught me a lot about coaching and being coached by my porter. And it taught me a lot about owning my success and owning my victory. Um, so I want you to think about some things to challenge yourself. And these stories I'm telling you, it's not for me to talk about me. It's just for me to share some things to help you trigger some things that may have happened that you overlooked and take it for granted so that you can figure out what are some areas that I can use to go outside my comfort zone and grow. What are some things that I can do to go out my comfort zone to help me uncover areas of myself so that I can be the best me? So, stretching, expanding, and belief that there is more of you and that you can tap into. The next thing I'd like for you to think about is areas of your life that you can take more risk. Think about what is the biggest risk you've ever taken? What did you learn? And why is it important for you? And just jot some things down. The biggest risk, why was it important for you to do it? And what did you learn? And you might also consider how is it supporting you now? I was just jotting some things down for myself, and I just thought, what are areas in your life that you could consider taking more risk also? The best you does not come from comfort and playing it safe. Think about that. What do you value? Now, that's very important. And it's important to consider how you are including that what you value in everything that you do. So now we've looked at risk, we've looked at challenges, we've looked at creating a theme for for the year. We've looked at studying your manual of you. How you start your day so that you can achieve all these things that you're working on and to achieve uncovering the best you. How you start your day is very, very important. It's important not to get up and turn on Morning Joe and Good Morning America and CNN and what have you. And if you want to get up and do that, then get up earlier so that you could have that first part of the day be about you. Now, for myself, I like to get up and I start with prayer and being grateful that I got up, grateful that I have these things on my mind, grateful that I have things to do. And then I meditate. And I meditate so that I can go into that reserve, my internal prime real estate, and experience, hear, feel what is there for me that I must undertake, that I can undertake to do some of the things that I'm called to do. So I would like to propose you design what your day can look like, the beginning of your day. Someone gave me this book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And so sometimes in the morning, I just get up and open it to wherever. And inevitably, there is a message that is for me. The fact that I don't just read it cover to cover, I open it up and there's a message. Sometimes I open up the Bible. Sometimes I just sit and be still. But find that something that provides you with some stimulation, that feeds you and nourishes you and helps to put order in your day. So starting your day is important. And then at the end of your day, to look to see what is it that you accomplished? What did you do that day that supported or added to the theme that you have created for your year? What have you done to say, to look at how productive am I being so that I'm using all of my rich resources to make a difference in my community, in my family, in my job? What am I doing? So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I want to tell you about the king. Um, so now a year has passed and he's getting excited about seeing his kids. He can't believe that it's been a whole year. And as he's sitting there thinking, he looks out and for as far as he can see, he sees horses with men on the horse. And he said, "Oh my goodness, what could this be?" And he looks and he sees it's his son leading all of these horses and men. And he goes down and he stands at the entrance and he says, "Oh, my son, I'm so happy to see you. It's been so long. Oh my goodness, I've missed you." And the son said, "Father, I have missed you too. And as you can see, I brought something to fill the castle." So he gets off and he starts giving instructions to his men. "I want you to take these horses and I want us to fill the castle." And they go in and they fill the castle. And the father comes and says, son, that's really brilliant of you, the way the logistics and how you handled bringing all of these horses and men here, and then how you got them into the castle. However, it's not full. All the space still remains up here. But thank you, and I'm so happy to see you. And so the son clears all the horses and the men out of the castle. And shortly thereafter, here comes camels as far as he could see. And the coat, and he looks out. And she says, and he says, that's my son. And my son is leading all of those camels. And he goes out, and there's a son. And he says, son, my son, I'm so happy to see you. I've missed you. I'm so happy you're back. And the son says, Father, I've missed you too. And he said, I brought camels and some men to help me. And all of these bags, we're going to fill the castle. And so he instructs the men, take the bags off of the camel, take them to the castle, open them up, and empty them in the castle. Now, in this bag, they're filled with feathers. And the father thinks, wow, how did he think of this? And these feathers are filling up the castle. And look how he is instructing the men. And look how he brought all of these camels from afar back to our kingdom. But as you would have it, the feathers come down and they start sinking, and they did not fill the castle. But the father commends the son on his creativity. Now he's getting concerned because his daughter hasn't come back, and he's a little worried. Should I have sent her alone out in the world? And just as he begins to fret, he looks and he sees a lone figure, and he sees his daughter, and she's walking with just a knapsack. And he goes down to receive her, and he says, daughter, my daughter, I've missed you. I'm so happy you have returned. And the daughter says, oh, Father, I have missed you too. I'm so glad to see you, and I'm so glad to see my home, and I'm so glad to be back in this community. And he said, but daughter, you were supposed to bring something to fill the castle. And she said, oh, Father, I have. And she said, she said, let me speak to the staff. And she gives them some instructions. She said, I'd like for you to invite the entire kingdom to the castle tonight at sundown when the sun sets. And so they go off and they tell everyone, you are requested at the castle. And then she goes in the center of the room, of the palace room, and she puts her knapsack down, and she takes a candle out, and she instructs everyone to go to file into a circle around her and fill up the entire ballroom. And she puts this candle in the middle, and she lights it. And then she takes out a flute, and she looks around, and she smiles, and she puts the flute to her mouth, and she begins playing. And she plays some of the most beautiful, hauntingly beautiful music that, oh, the castle is transfixed. Everyone begins holding hands, and they sway, and they feel the love from the music, and the love pours throughout the castle. The castle is filled with love and music and beauty. And the king looks, and he realizes he has never seen this in his castle. And he realizes his daughter has filled the castle. And not only has she filled the castle, but she filled the castle with love, and she filled the castle with joy. And he said to her, my daughter, you have inherited my kingdom. And so, for each one of you, Miami alums, take this time in 2023 to find a way that you can uncover your best you. Go inside, find that voice that speaks to you and you alone, because that message is for you to share and to give to others. Now, I'm very interested to know what unfolds as you continue to do the work that you started. And I'm going to make 3 suggestions. When you leave here, open your phone or your calendar, wherever you calendar, and schedule some time. Block some more time out so that you can finish your writing. It is for you, and you will do some wonderful, rich things if you have that roadmap set up for yourself. Secondly, I've written a book, It's Your Turn, Uncovering the Best You Now, none of which I talked about in this talk, but I offer you the opportunity to go to Amazon and order it for yourself. Thirdly, if you, is it third, second, third, whatever number, if you'd like to reach out to me, there's my information will be on the screen, and I know that Emily's going to put it up there so that you have a way to email me, find me on LinkedIn, call me. If there's questions you might have about how to finish this that you started, if you want to explore what coaching, working with the coach is like, and have that experience, you can call me and we can explore that. Now, and if it's not me, because, I don't work with everybody. I know very clearly once I start talking who my clients are. But I know lots of coaches. I've been very active in our community. So, my first thought is to make certain that everybody has a situation to find that person that's best for them. I look forward to a continued dialogue. I continue to hearing whether all the stories that unfold for you as you find your best you in 2023. Thank you. Oh, one last thing, love and honor. Are there any questions?
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Yes, we do have a couple questions.
Okay.
Actually, we have several, but I think we only have time for a couple. The first question came from Kate earlier in the live broadcast. She says, is the idea to have a one-word theme for the year? Because I like the sentence you used about uncovering yourself.
No, you don't have to. What it is, you don't want to make your theme so complicated that you can't do it. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. So it could be a sentence, it could be a phrase, or it could be one word.
Great, thank you. Another question that came through is, what one thing do you recommend be done daily to support being your best self?
Very good question. And I would say one thing daily, to listen to yourself. And that's why I keep saying meditate. And meditating is sitting there, being still. We're such busy people. We have phones, we have iPads, computers. So much comes to us that we don't have that time to just be still with ourselves. So take, even if it's 3 minutes, take those 3 minutes and still yourself. And you would be surprised. You get to hear differently. You get to see differently. You get to observe differently. Meditate.
Great. Thank you. That is a wonderful piece of advice to end on. Thank you so much, Cynthia. We really appreciate your time today and sharing with us your knowledge and expertise.
It's
And
been my
thanks to all
pleasure.
of you who have watched our live stream today. If you'd like to learn more about Miami Women, just visit miamioh.edu/Miami Women. And please save the date for our 2023 Leadership Symposium here in Oxford on April 28th. As a reminder, a recording of this presentation will be available on our website later today. Thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you, Cynthia. Love and honor.
Love and honor. Thank you.